for maybe 2 years now, so I'm a little nervous. 2 years is a long time. Yeah. So yeah, you might have seen that robot's acting dead right now. But yeah, it's gonna be alive next week. Okay. So I'm going to talk about how I sort of got into this. I'm an automotive engineer. I loved cars as a kid, and there's something very interesting happened to me when I grew up. Graduated from college and was working in an automotive company right outside of Delhi, India. I actually saw this. This is a makeshift truck which has a pumps engine. And it has a lot of people on it, and there are times when you find school children, there are times when you find cattle, agriculture produce, everything. And I got super curious. Then I found out that there are like around 10,000 of these were being sold every year, and they don't have any number plates or anything. So it's like illegal, but then people have it. It's like weed, right? Like it's everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it got legal now. Okay, so, I was like a 22-year-old, very idealist, young mechanical engineer who would love to build stuff. So, I thought, okay, you know what, like, I think I can change a couple of things here and this thing can help people. So, I built this. My company was called EVO, which is called Evolving Mobility. And this is like a $3,000 truck, which I was building like from 2009 to 2015. It was a lot of work, trying to find systems which can be repaired in rural areas where you didn't have a phone back then, and obviously there was bad electricity. There are a couple of companies like that working in Africa, but this was like an Indian event. And yeah, I mean, we had a lot of fun building this, but at the time, there was not a lot of VC interest in India for backing hardware companies. Now you do see a lot of automotive companies coming out of everywhere. You do have like electric vehicles doing very large IPOs almost every few weeks, but this wasn't the case. So in around 2015, I had to shut things down, and I was trying to work, like I was doing some consulting projects, and then this new idea came. I was looking at 3D printers, and then one of my co-founders, he's a furniture designer. So we thought, okay, why can't we like print furniture? And basically we built like a home-built CNC machine which could cut pieces of wood very fast. And this new company was born, which is called Orangewood Labs. Wood basically means furniture. So that's what we started building first. And we got like some customers. We were actually serving some of the co-working spaces back then, and in and around Delhi. And we were like kind of successful. There was kind of product market fit there back then. And then we got into Y Combinator. So back in 2018, there was like less number of hardware companies. And one of the things which happened was while we were, when we were like selling furniture, what we realized that okay, you can cut pieces of wood very fast, but then you have to paint it as well. So painting was a big problem, and there would be times when we would like do an order within a few hours and then wait for 3 days for the painting guy to arrive. And it sort of kept coming back, and then in like typical again idealist engineer fashion, we would say, okay, let's build a robot for this, and we built a lot of these. So started from this one. This is like a 3-axis robotic arm which is made out of plywood, and it was cut on a CNC machine because that's what we had. And then to the one on the last one. So it went through a lot of iterations, and we realized that this could be like a bigger thing. One of the problems which we were also able to solve that was the fact that we realized that okay, robotic arms are extremely expensive. The kind of the ones which we were trying to replace would cost like $35,000, and it would be out of budget for most of SMEs. Obviously, you do have the cost of the arm, and then there's obviously the integration costs. And because these are being integrated by small boutique companies, which are which do not have any incentives or to lower prices or productize it. It sort of it never really reaches the small businesses. So I just want to talk a little bit about why robotic arms are expensive. There's this one particular component, which is the gearbox, which is kind of like the 50% of the bill of material cost. And it's so weird that an object like that, which which is playing dead right now, costs like $35,000. It shouldn't be like that, and the reason for that is these particular gearboxes are very expensive. They're proprietary. It's very difficult to build them as well. So what we did was to use commoditized gearboxes, the kind of ones which you see in your automobiles, very similar, and then use a machine learning algorithm to correct for the error. And we could see the costs coming down, and accuracy still staying somewhat similar. So these are some of the things which we did with our robot. First one is doing a pick and place operation. The second one is doing welding. It does it really well. And the last one is doing powder coating. In fact, we started deploying these, and we are working with Verizon. We're on a project with Verizon, in the lab. So this is what our robotic arm is. This is how it looks. These are the specs. And happy to answer any questions. I do have a surprise. How about bring it down?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Why don't you?
we have a robotic arm back in India as well. And anyone of you who want to give it a shot and control it, we can.
So we can actually
we're actually streaming. We are actually streaming the data live. So you can teleoperate a robotic arm back in India from here using this iPad, and you can give it a shot. Yeah. We have the stream as well on the Zoom. Also we have it over here. So yeah. So this over there. This is a simulation, and this is the.
It's just like a video game, but
Is it fast?
You can do multiple changes as well. You can change a lot of angles at the same time, and press send to one. So that will change all the angles at the same time. So here's suppose you want to go here, you can send to one, and it will change the entire button about all kinds of things more at once.
It goes on loop, just like any program, anything is a program. I can just change, you know, these things. Okay, let me just flash this so that everything's back to. There's some lag.
That's why we're solving with 5G.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we're here. There's no lag.
Who's the guy under the table moving his stuff?
But he doesn't know the angle that we are writing.
I see somebody.
There's a significant lag. Yeah. So I'm just gonna like give it something random and make it dance. So this is gonna do like you know, full, like it's gonna do a step 3 times.
And then you can add your own music at the back.
Yeah. We do that a lot.
This is his dancing skills, depending on you.
Depending on you, you can change it.
Yeah.
Any questions for pass it out the mic.
Can you use it as a cobot or is it just robot?
This is a cobot.
It is a cobot, so it's safe touch. Or...
Yeah, absolutely. That's why the guy was in the frame. Yeah.
This is a great product. So, questions regarding cobot. So, what kind of sensing do you have? Do you have kind of CD elastic actuators, some kind of force sensors with this?
So we are using impedance control. You know, it's like the first form of the safety. So the moment like someone touches it, it kind of stops there. We do have like some ideas around using you know, proximity sensors. We've tried like some projects, but right now our customers don't need that. Something that's sophisticated.
What's the payload?
5 kg.
So from working on, I guess, furniture robots now to this, what is your formal definition of a robot?
I think it's something which, you know, I mean, for me, even a printer is a robot, right? Like, give it a set of instructions and it does that. I think in terms of its capabilities, right now what we're doing is more mechanical than intelligence. Yeah, I think we'll have like more robots which are going to be more and more intelligent. I think that definition itself is going to change. So, yeah. I mean, the first time the printer came, you wouldn't call it a robot, or maybe even the 3D printer now, but it essentially is a robot.
And adding to that, it should be like intuitive enough to anyone to actually control it, even when they even don't know what is a robotic arm.
I mean, you guys must not be knowing how this is happening, right? But this is easy for you.
Yeah.
We have a screen, we can touch it, and we can just send all the angles, and we can make it move. So something which is easier for you, or easier for anyone basically to run, is what we are actually looking at the vision for.
We were trying something with food. Initially we were trying to, but then that created a lot of mess in the workshop. So we were told specifically not to, and yeah, so. But yeah, we really want to try like doing like baking and other stuff, making coffee.
Hey, I have two questions for you. The first one, right here. Okay, you said the main objective of creating this global handling because you want to create something cost efficient, right? That's something on the field. So compared to the one right now in the market, which is like mine, how much is it going to be costing?
So we are doing robots as service models. So rather than having a huge upfront, small businesses can just subscribe to it, and we just ship one of these to your factory or workshop, and we'll give you a set of instructions how to like set it up on your own, or we'll probably send someone over. We're still like exploring. We just have 2 customers right now, so.
Okay, and you also said we use machine learning with your own proprietary gearbox, which will give the results not almost 100%, but close enough to the ones that are using in the industry level, right? So what's accuracy level you're talking about?
Yeah, so we are saying that, okay, don't use it for making a tattoo or haircut, but you can use it for welding. In terms of specifics, it can do up to 200 microns of repeatability, which is good enough for like doing most things. But it's not like it's not like 30 microns like its competitors. But then what I understood was the fact that even a lot of robotic arms are actually in Robotic. So yeah.
So I just had a question real quick. Can you tell us a little bit about the end effector options you have for this?
So this has an ISO. I mean, you can basically put anything which comes with a UR or a hook end effector, and it's pretty easy. Like you could 3D print something, make it do other things.
Yeah, you mentioned robots as a service, which is something I'm obviously involved with. If you could talk about that, I mean, what sort of metrics are you using to calculate your robots as a service?
Yeah, right now we are just, I mean, we're just charging a monthly rental. We would want to go to like an hourly thing where you just could like, whatever amount of robot you're using, you could just, we could just charge you for that. It's still like evolving right now. I think very small number of companies are doing it. The financial models are really interesting there because the cost of hardware, since it's going down, you could actually get a lot of margins there. So I'll probably answer this question maybe in 2 years when we'll know.
I'll have a chat with you later.
Yeah. Thanks.
You showed that pattern cutting robots. Do you guys still make that? And if you have to make it, like, would you be selling it to manufacturers?
So there are a lot of other people who also make it. In fact, that's like a very basic kind of a robot. It's called the CNC router, and what we did was like what we did was that you could like take online orders and just put it up there. There was like some small level of automation, but nothing super serious apart from that we built it in my parents' basement. So it's like a 3D printer. So.
Your powder coat application, is that C1D1, C2D1? Is it explosion proof or no?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, so the company which we are doing it, they are making.
So far, so good.
They're making the metal. They're making metal furniture. So I don't think it's like super. It doesn't really need to be super sophisticated because the items are actually very cheap. But then we are still like helping like them to fill one position.
Super impressed with how you went from automotive to robotic arms. Can you explain a little bit more in details how you went from that, I guess, field, as far as a business perspective? Like, did you hire more people? Did you do it yourself? Did you study? And how did you get from automobile to robotic arms in such a very precise build?
I think we were, as a company, we were very interested in understanding where our business is going, like where are the key problems. And at the time when we were building and selling furniture to co-working spaces, we found that the labor shortage is a big problem. And in spite of the fact that we were in a very industrial area, in India, we still couldn't get painters. And the situation is really bad in more industrialized and developed nations. So I think it sort of was pretty clear, and then there was a lot of problem solving there, which we did to get to this point. This one also took like a lot of time. I think we started working on it from January 2019. We had to not earn money during that time. We were just like burning through a lot of investor cash. Not a lot, I mean, but still enough investor cash. So yeah, I think that's how we figured it out.
Thank you. That is a very interesting story. Can you please elaborate on what happened when you decided to pivot from furniture company to the robotic company? Because I assume that there could be a lot of pre-existing like robotic companies out there.
Yeah, I mean, those pre-existing, so you don't actually see a lot of robotic arms in the field. That was our problem, right? In fact, if you look at the evolution of robotic arms, we had the first robotic arm, which was the Stanford robotic arm back in the 60s, during the same time when you had the first computer. I mean, sort of the first electronic computer. But then right now we sell like almost what, hundreds of millions of computing devices, but just 400,000 robotic arms. So there's definitely a gap, and I think the current generation, we don't want to like work in a factory. It's as simple as that. It's extremely time consuming, and we could be doing 10 other things. So this is like an existential problem for a lot of industries which are making physical goods. So it seemed to be an idea to get into. It was extremely hard for us because we were so invested in building furniture and trying to find more customers. My co-founder, who is a furniture designer, I mean that's what his specialization was. He used to have like nightmares. I'm not building furniture, but then I think we sort of looked at what the bigger picture is. Yeah.
Thank you, Abhinav. We'll let you find these guys at the end of the meetup here to be able to play with the robot if they're still awake in India. Let's move on to more lightning talks.